So I'm gonna continue the story that I started yesterday because I'm invested. It's a little bit late, but I'm probably not gonna do another fucking 10 billion hour stream. But I might end a little bit late, regardless. First thing first, I have to make. I love makeup, so I'm gonna do a little bit of makeup while I continue the true crime story that I started yesterday. And then I'm gonna take a small break. Va-t'en, tu m'énerves, Tito. And then I'm gonna do some gaming stream. So let's start with the continuation of yesterday tragic story with this fuck up fucking father figure who ended up being a fucking rapist murderer.
Bada bing, bada boo.
I'm
It's
judging.
probably
I
one of
listen and
the
I judge.
worst relationships in Hollywood history. I mean, who are we to judge? But we're going to judge this relationship because the whole setup of it is very odd. You have Mia Farrow. She's this famous actress. She starred as Rosemary in Rosemary's Baby back in the 60s. She's dating this guy who is also in Hollywood. And in the
Oh,
span of dating for 12 years, they end up making 13 movies together. But it's interesting because there are all these tabloid rumors. Why are they not getting married? How come they never got married? How come they never even live together? They never even move in together in the span of 12 years? Which power to them if that's not the life that they want? But people are on the side, just trying to grasp how is this relationship working? Especially because Mia Farrow, the actress, she has 6 children of her own. Some of them come from her previous relationship, they're her biological kids. Other children, she's adopted them. But Woody, her boyfriend, filmmaker, is very firm from the get go. I have no interest in co parenting. I don't want to co parent your kids. I don't want to be involved in your kids' lives. I don't want to financially support them. I don't want to emotionally support them. I just don't see myself as a father like that. Maybe he just doesn't like kids. At least in the very beginning, that's what people are thinking. But then they end up having a son together. Ronan Farrow, who's a Pulitzer Prize winning journalist now. Amazing, okay? But they have him, and eventually Woody does end up adopting 2 of Mia Farrow's children. Perhaps he comes around on not wanting to have children and he becomes slowly more integrated into at least 3 of the kids' lives. A year after Woody adopts 2 of Mia's kids,
Mm-hmm.
so they have a son, and then he adopts 2 of her kids. Mia goes over to Woody's apartment one day, because remember, they don't live together, and she finds a stack of pictures. Just graphic pictures. She's saying they wouldn't even put these on Playboy. They're like Hustler magazine pictures. So they're very raunchy, I guess is the word. Just really, really pictures of another woman who is clearly very young, about 21 years old. Woody's in his 50s. And the pictures are very clear. These are not cutouts of a magazine.
I
They're not
remember
printed
that.
out. They're Polaroids. So Woody probably took these pictures. Woody Allen is cheating on his long-term girlfriend, Mia Farrow, which is already devastating enough, but Mia is doing triple takes on these pictures because it is not just a random girl that he met on set or a random woman that he walked by on the street that developed some sort of chemistry with. This girl in the picture is her own adopted daughter from Korea, Soon Yi.
Wait, this is Mia's kid or?
Mia's adopted daughter that she's had prior to Woody Allen.
Uh huh.
And now she's seeing her adopted daughter in Woody Allen's apartment with these very graphic photos that are. He is cheating on her with her own daughter.
Is this one of the daughter that he adopted?
No.
Okay, okay. So this is the one that he didn't adopt.
Yes, but it's
Yes.
still her daughter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is the case of Woody Allen and Mia Farrow that I could probably do a whole 2-part
You
series separate
should,
from this
because
one
it's
on. And
disgusting.
Woody Allen's
As
adopted daughter,
an
the one
adopted
that he
person,
does
I
in
could
fact
never
adopt
date my
from
dad.
Mia's clan of children, Dylan goes on to accuse Woody Allen of SA when she was a kid.
Huh.
So with all of this, Mia breaks up with Woody. He and Mia's adopted daughter from Korea, Soon Yi, ends up getting married to Woody Allen. So suddenly this guy who doesn't want to get married is getting married to his ex-girlfriend's daughter. Woody claims Mia convinced their other kid, Dylan, to lie about Woody essaying her to get back at him for cheating on her with her own daughter. But he claims Soon Yi is 21. I mean, it's not like she's a minor, but she would have been 11 when Woody Allen came into her life. When Mia and Woody Allen start dating, Soon Yi would have been 11. You're telling the world that you did not groom this little girl to any degree? And then cheat on your own girlfriend with her own daughter, if you can even use the word cheat in this scenario? Woody's explanation in all of this is, I'm not Soon Yi's father. I'm not her stepfather. I've never even lived with Mia. I've never even slept at Mia's apartment. I never even used to go there until my own children came along. I was not a father to her or to any of her adopted kids in any sense of the word.
Still disgusting.
Side of it. The only thing unusual is that she is Mia's daughter, but she is an adopted daughter and a grown woman. I could have met her at a party or something. Woody was 56 and Soon Yi was 21.
Disgusting.
He's 35 years older, and they're still together to this day.
Yep.
And they're doubling down that nothing is wrong with their relationship. Soon Yi even releases her own statement saying, I admit that it's offbeat, but let's not get hysterical. I'm not an R-word underage flower that was R-worded, molested, and spoiled by some evil stepfather. Not even by a long shot. This is one of the most
Keep doing that to
controversial
yourself, baby girl.
relationships in Hollywood. It's just very strange and alarming that Woody tries to reason that he absolutely did not groom this little girl because he was never a father figure. Kind of makes it all that more disgusting. You met her when she was 11 and you didn't feel a paternal relationship with her. Then what kind of feelings did you have towards her? The Woody Allen and Mia Farrow situation has its own 4-part documentary, countless articles on what the truth is, what each side is saying, but it's not really something that the normal person thinks about. I might have times when I'm reminded of it and I just sit there and I go, oh my God, that was a crazy situation and the new documentary just came out, but I don't think about it on a day-to-day basis. I mean, you're not supposed to. It's weird. Unless you're Jennifer Sodto.
What?
She just has this feeling. This gut feeling. Biggest fear in the world. That would just pop up into her mind like an intrusive thought. She's a single mom in Florida with a young daughter. And when she finally gets into a serious long-term relationship, she says her biggest fear was being Woody Allen. Jennifer tells her boyfriend, Stefan,
how can that be your biggest fear, woman?
And date my daughter.
What a weirdo. Oh my God.
Mentioned that she has no idea, but now she's saying my biggest fear is you're gonna leave me for my daughter.
Woody Allen me, groom my daughter.
I've always told him that my biggest fear is that this would turn into a Woody Allen situation where the stepdaughter or the dad grooms the child and the child turns 18 and ends up running away with him. I told him like that was my biggest fear and I don't ever want that happening. Like, you can't do that to me. Like,
why would you say that to him?
Because I never trusted. I grew up being told never trust a man. My mom put that in my body. Never trust a man.
7 years later, Jennifer will be shown photos of Stefan abusing her daughter, Maddie. And now, Maddie is missing, presumed dead, and Jennifer, at least briefly, stands by her man. This is the case of Madeline Sodto.
Death to all of them.
A few disclaimers for today's case. There's heavy mentions and themes of CSAM, otherwise formerly known as CP, CA, CSA, SA, and potential familial incest. There's quite a few mentions of these themes throughout this entire episode, so please, if it's too much, take a break, get some air, and I'll see you in the next one. Charges have been pressed in this case. Lots of charges, over 60 charges, but unfortunately and legally, there has yet to be a trial. So everyone is innocent until proven guilty in the eyes of the law, I guess, but we are all entitled to our own personal opinions. This is also a 2-part case. If you haven't already watched part 1, please go watch that. I'm going to link that below, but I'm going to try to keep it as thorough as possible. I watched 20 plus hours of interview footage. There's audio interviews, interrogation footage, over 1,000 pages of court documents. This case has just been releasing nonstop paperwork all the time. There has just been no way to condense it down into one. So in part 1, we focused on Maddie going missing, what happened the day that she disappeared, and all of the weird actions of Jennifer Sodto, her own mother. Because right when she reports Maddie missing, there's so many weird things. The police are like, where have you looked for Maddie? And she's like, nowhere. I've been at home protecting my mental health. It's just everything about the mother is odd. Then in part 2, this episode, we're going to focus on Stefan Stearns, the boyfriend of Jennifer Sodto, and all the conspiracies that are tied to what happened, why. There's allegations of a massive CSAM ring that's operating on Telegram. There's allegations of pregnancy. There's a lot happening. So that being
Pregnancy?
said,
Holy
let's get
shit.
started.
I hope
This
not.
is a trend on TikTok, going through your boyfriend's text messages, going through your boyfriend's DMs. That's child's play. The big account that you want to find and go through is your boyfriend's Reddit account. If a man has a Reddit account, do you really know who the man is if you don't go through his Reddit history? That was the sentiment on TikTok. People are giving tips. This is how you find your partner's Reddit username. What kinds of subreddits to look out for? What kinds of subreddits are Reddit pages undercover that are just misogynistic cesspools of incels jerking each other off? People were posting, be careful though. Actually,
Oh.
don't go through your boyfriend's Reddit, because once you see it, you can never go back. One woman who found her boyfriend's Reddit account says, while we were in the talking and getting to know each other phase, he was using Reddit to hook up with random women. I found comments that he posted on other women's naked photos, requests to join glory hole encounters, and overall just a lot of things that I never imagined he would participate in or be interested in. We've been together for a year and a half now, and I'm just confused on everything that I've learned. I genuinely don't know this person, and I don't know what to do. Do I let this go because we weren't together at that point, or do I confront him and tell him how upsetting it was to see those posts? What am I supposed to do? Another woman posts asking for advice because her boyfriend is glued to his Reddit. I mean, he likes to keep himself updated. That's what he says.
About what?
The news, the random popular posts. That's what he likes to see on Reddit. She goes through his Reddit search history. It's just all NSFW, not safe for work. News, random girls that are dancing sensually, and now she doesn't know what to do. So a lot of word of advice from partners is when you open up that Reddit account, just know there is no going back. Whether that be good or bad, you can never unsee it. If you were to go through Sustenet's Reddit account, that's the account name, Sustenet, which is the Latin word for support. You would really have to dig through hundreds, and I know this because I dug through every single post and comment, probably more so thousands of posts and comments to figure out if there is anything alarming.
Wait, is that a Reddit handle or is that a community?
A Reddit handle.
Oh,
One
okay.
person's Reddit account. That's their handle. And you can go through their history and see all of the different posts that they've made across all the subreddits. So anything they've ever posted, commented, you're going to see it under their account. And you can just go through their history and see their evolution as a developing human being, I guess. And I went through so much. I went through the entire history of Sustenet's Reddit. 98% of his Reddit posts are on board game subreddits, or r/Disney, r/Tamagotchi. You know what Tamagotchi is?
Mm-mm.
It's like the little keychains. And
But he's a grown man. That's kind of weird. The
Sometimes it's
Tamagotchi.
black and white, sometimes it's color, but it's just a keychain.
The digital pet.
Yeah, the digital pet.
And you feed it, and then it could
Uh-huh.
die.
People were
and then you
obsessed with
feed
it when I was a
you birth
kid.
it, I
Those are
guess.
still around?
He collects vintage ones.
Oh.
He actually spends quite a bit of money. I was trying to figure out the prices because he'll post rare Tamagotchi that he purchases. And I was like, okay, well, now I need to know how much this is. I'm going through the Tamagotchi rabbit hole. Hundreds of dollars for just a
Whoa.
keychain with a pet in there. Some of
Is
them,
he feeding them?
he's feeding them. He's buying supplemental stuff. He will walk around with them on his belt.
Oh.
Just keychains to his body.
Wow.
But he's a
I mean,
grown
it's a neat hobby.
man.
I respect
That's
it.
kinda
The
weird.
hobby itself, of course. Now, 98% of his posts are about Tamagotchi. It's the other 2% of his posts that are interesting. If you were to be dating Sustenet, you would want to go through that 2%. He likes to comment answers to people's Reddit, like ask Reddit questions. If you were a serial killer, who would be your victim? Sustenet comments. People who drive down the shoulder of the road during traffic jams, people who refuse to let others merge into their lane, people who go through the express lane at a grocery store with many more items than the limits suggest, basically the most selfish and careless people in society. Okay.
Okay.
Kind of quirky, I guess. Is a thumb a finger? If so, why do you think that is? Sustenet responds, all thumbs are fingers, but not all fingers are thumbs.
Okay.
Not false. I mean, relatively true.
Yeah.
I don't know how pertinent information this is to carry on with life, but it continues. What instantly ruins the vibe at any social gathering? Sustanet says, the guy with all the conspiracy theories that insists on talking to you about it and trying to convert you into believing them too.
Yes.
Which,
That I can agree with that.
I think that's kind of a fun dude, but to each their own. If he's not crafting up these responses to questions, he'll try to whip out some of these one-liners that are not the most original, but they all kind of have a certain vibe to them. He writes, funny enough, common sense isn't really common at all. Then he'll go back to answering questions. What should be off limits in comedy? Nothing. What can you not do that everyone else seems to be able to do? Adult. Men of Reddit, what goes through your mind when a woman starts unzipping her pants? Ma'am, I don't know you, and we're in a bus station. I mean, this digital footprint is never ending. How do you love yourself? Usually with my left hand.
Wait.
Okay, so things are getting
wait. The question was what is it that you can't do that everybody else does? And his answer was adult. Yeah, because he's a pedophile. Or is he talking about like his maturity level? Couldn't link the fact that he's a
more personal. You know, you keep scrolling looking for anything that's going to tell you something more about this poster, and here it is. Sustanet is talking about his past relationship and being cheated on. You know, I had my suspicions for a long time. I drove to her house after she did that sleep.
All right then, Longan.
She wasn't there. This was weeks after months of shady behavior, deleted conversations, unsaved numbers, calling late at night, and her turning over in bed as she would answer a text so that I couldn't see who it was. Basically, all the red flags. When I finally caught her in the lie, we sat down, she confessed, and we broke up. She then worked very hard to win me back, begging my parents to talk to me. And then when I took her back, she cheated again and even laughed about it. I'm well enough endowed. You know, length and girth are pretty perfectly proportioned. Good looking by most standards. Knew my way around a woman's body very well, but it didn't matter. It wasn't an issue of me not satisfying her. She was unfortunately bipolar and unmedicated. So one of her symptoms while manic was hypersexuality, which basically meant that anytime she met a guy that was even slightly intrigued by her, she would end up screwing them, and this destroyed my self-confidence. This is almost 10 years ago, and my confidence has never recovered. I became depressed. I have trust issues. I swore off dating for almost 6 years straight, while I just stewed in a broth of self-pity and depression. It's not a good look, and I regret those years of my prime. I wasted on people that just weren't worth it. My now girlfriend is thankfully one of my closest friends, and we are supportive of each other and trust each other.
Right.
We've been happy for almost 2 years now.
When was this posted?
This was while he was dating Jennifer Sodto.
Okay.
Recently, maybe like a few years ago. His Reddit posts, majority of them are 2 to 4 years ago.
Okay.
Now it's getting much more specific and much more personal. I kept scrolling. Having a nice package doesn't mean necessarily having the biggest one. It's about this is what Sustanet is writing. It's having one that is either or both proportionately ideal and also aesthetically pleasing to look at. I don't have the biggest one in the world, but I've always received compliments, and it never fails to make me feel good about myself. And then another. He's just posting on Digimon Pets, and he's posting how he bought these new 3 Digimons, which are like Tamagotchis. He says that he got one for himself, and the purple one is for his stepdaughter. In fact, he posts a lot about his stepdaughter and how she's interested in the same things that he's interested in, like Tamagotchi, painting figurines for Warhammer.
He posts his stepdaughter in the Reddit?
Tabletop game.
Don't do that.
He'll write things like, my 12-year-old stepdaughter is maybe the world's sorest loser in the world, and will typically break down in tears and fits when she is soundly defeated in most games. But not in Lorcana. I am proud to say that she is really giving me a run for my money and running some neck-and-neck games. But usually, when you're scrolling through someone's Reddit history, you're not looking for how well he gets along with his family members. You're looking for red flags.
Yes.
And you find them.
Oh.
On a thread, someone writes, what is the hardest part of dating after 30? Sustanet responds, finding people to date that haven't spent all their teens and 20s in the sun with minimal sun protection, making them all look like a 70-year-old Clint Eastwood, plus all the emotional baggage and kids from first marriages or absent fathers. Honestly, dating in or after your 30s is a these days. One begins to understand the DiCaprio strategy.
Oh?
The alarm bells start going off.
Okay, relax.
The aggression starts to come out. In other threads, he's responding to people who need life advice because, for example, poster, friend A said that friend B came to pick him up to hang out, and friend B drove up in a stolen car, thus making friend A somewhat legally culpable in this crime of stealing a car. Sustanet responds, your friend will end up in prison, and they will see who the he is when they are being used like one.
What?
It's just kind of getting bleak. In fact, he starts writing about humanity, and he has all these thoughts about society. He says, I work at a major theme park in a safety critical role, because he worked at Disney, and get to observe human nature all day long to the tunes of thousands. I mean, literally thousands of people a day. And let me tell you, the outlook for the future of humanity is not good. Some folks are just feral bags that are incapable of self-governing. If there isn't a reward for doing it or a punishment for not doing it, they just couldn't give less of a anything. Humanity at this point is just 80% vacant-minded zombies that half-ass their way through life without ever bothering to think critically, read a sign, listen to instructions, or follow any sort of example that is already set for them. Just complete waste of oxygen, really. Oh, he does this weird thing where he goes on r/advice for teens. And he will give advice for teenagers that ask for advice. I mean, I guess the whole theory of the subreddit is that adults will come and give teenagers advice from their life experience of having gone through that phase and all the lessons that they've accrued from it. But he does frequent it quite a lot. And, I mean, most of the advice that he gives is not unsound. It makes sense, so it's not that alarming. But he does respond angrily to some other posts. Like, for example, there is a Life Pro Tips subreddit, and the original post reads, never force your kids to get a hug or
I agree, Longan.
Grandparents are even included. It will ruin their sense of bodily autonomy. They should know that it's their choice if people can touch them or not. Sustanet responds, Grandma is going to die soon. Just give her a hug because she loves you. Kids should have autonomy, yes, but also parents should understand when their kid is just being shy or squeamish or even just being a little head and encourage them to get over it and reciprocate. Part of growing up is sometimes doing things that you don't want to do because it's the correct thing to do. Looking back now, I wish I treated my grandmother better when I could have. Kids don't understand these things though. They just think old people are gross. He responds to people who are arguing with his logic, writing, I never suggested that kids should be forced to accept physical affection every time or have no choice in that matter. But the parents need to exercise their judgment as the adult as to whether or not it's justified or they're just being silly. To which someone comes back to this thread years later, and in 2025, they comment, and was it justified for you to kill a 13-year-old? Because Sustanet is Stefan Stern,
Like,
Jennifer Sodto's 38-year-old boyfriend. And he has now just arrived at the police station and is escorted into the interrogation room, where he will be seated and waiting for 3.5 hours for the detectives to finally come in and question him. Listen, there is no law that they have to question him immediately upon arrival. There's no good service at a police station. You don't get to do a little review. They made me wait 3 hours before coming to my attention. He sits there for 3.5 hours.
but it's the
And
mental
you think,
torture.
oh, it's because the police are not efficient. They don't have their together. No, detectives do this all on purpose.
Yep.
Psychological pressure, the isolation, this tiny room, unfamiliar circumstances, stressful situations. You know that you're likely being watched. And you are being watched. You have to rethink every answer that you want to respond to the police with, which you would imagine is potentially a good thing. It's not. The more isolated, the more alone you are, the more stressed you are, the more you are crafting these responses to questions that just don't make sense.
That don't make sense, yeah.
That far-fetched response that you thought of, maybe in an appropriate setting, you think, okay, no one's going to believe that because that is absolutely ridiculous. In this setting, you might think, okay, that's what I'm going to say. Yeah, no, that's the only thing that makes sense. Maybe I'll just bring that lie out right now. Tiring out the suspects is also important, creating mental fatigue. The officers, they're in the back downing their coffees. They're watching you. They're having a little chit-chat. They're giggle-gaggling. And you are left with nothing but your own thoughts getting exhausted.
Anxiety.
You're questioning, what do I know that the police don't know, that I can't let them know? But also, what do the police already know? Here's what the police already know in this case. Madeline Sodto goes missing after her 13th birthday party celebration. So her birthday party celebration was on Sunday. Monday morning, she goes missing. The last person to see her alive was Stephen Stearns. The story that both Jennifer Sodto and Stephen Stearns has told is that Sunday night, Jennifer Sodto gets home from work at Disney. Stephen is getting Madeline ready for bed. Jennifer Sodto forgot to take her medicine the day before, so she's been a little bit wonky, and she tells the two of them, why don't you both go upstairs and sleep in the guest room together so that I can get a good night's rest by myself? Because normally the three of them sleep in the same bed, and it's always Jennifer Sodto, 13-year-old Madeline, and then Stephen Stearns. That's the setup of their sleeping arrangements. So she says, why don't you two go upstairs to the guest room, sleep just you two, and I'm gonna sleep downstairs. The next morning, she asks Stephen to take Madeline to school, and he agrees. He says, actually, we're gonna leave early, and I'm not even just gonna take her to school. I'm gonna take her to McDonald's. They leave an hour early, but they don't stop by McDonald's. In fact, he drops off Madeline an hour early across the street from the school because Madeline states that she's embarrassed of his car, but it's weird. Nobody really believes that story. And then his car is seen driving all over town with Madeline in the car. The police are saying the story isn't making any sense. There's so many discrepancies. First of all, when Jennifer Sodto takes her first police report, she says that she saw Madeline getting ready for school Monday morning.
And
But now
then
she's saying, actually, the last time I saw her was Sunday night. I take backsies. I did not see her Monday morning. But the CCTV cameras show Stephen Stearns driving around with Madeline in the passenger seat of his car all over town, nowhere near the school, does not drop her off near school, and then she just vanishes off of the face of the earth.
how convenient.
What's going on? And what's even more intriguing is that from 7 in the morning to 9 in the morning, the 2 hours that he's seen driving around with Madeline Sodto, she is in the same exact position in the passenger seat, in a very odd, leaned back, reclined on the chair, looking asleep.
Dead.
That's what Stephen says. She is asleep. He stops by the community dumpster to drop something off, which the police go through that dumpster and they find Madeline's backpack and one of her white Croc shoes. Which, why would that be? Because you said that you're dropping her off at school. Why would you throw away her backpack? Here's what the police believe happened. That Stephen Stearns killed Madeline Sodto sometime Sunday night, moved her body to the car on Monday morning and drove around with her. Obviously did not drop her off at school. And then eventually, after driving around with her for 2 hours, he pulls into a parking lot.
What the
and
fuck was
according to
that?
police reports, they have seen footage of him moving Madeline's limp body from the passenger seat into the trunk. Then he goes back home with Madeline's body in his trunk, has an hour to spend with Jennifer Sodto, Madeline's mother, leaves the home again to go place her body elsewhere. It appears he's heading somewhere to, I guess, quote unquote, dispose of her body.
Yep.
To get rid of her body, he is heading somewhere, but he gets a flat tire, and he tries to
Hello,
keep
baby
driving on
boo.
that flat
Thank you for the
tire
photo.
until it's literally just nuts and bolts left. And then eventually, he can no longer drive. He places Madeline's body somewhere, wherever he was, and then changes his tire, goes back home. That's what the police suspect. They just don't know where yet.
Wow. So all of that is caught on CCTV. Right now, they just need to find the body.
Yes.
Yes.
And I mean, once they go through his phone, they find clear CSAM evidence of him essaying Madeline, likely since she was 8 years old. And so now there's all these questions of how much does Jennifer Sodto, Maddie's own mother, know about all of this? What was Stephen doing the night that Maddie went missing? Monday night, while the police are searching for Maddie, while Jennifer Sodto is at home because she wants to protect her mental health, Stephen goes out in the middle of the night to look for Maddie. Police are probably wondering, did he
Right.
get to Madeline's body at that point?
Probably.
What was he doing that night? And then 2 days later, while Jennifer and Stephen are staying at a hotel because they get kicked out of their house, the police are securing it as a crime scene. Stephen is seen sneaking out again at night, taking Jennifer's car to go, quote, searching for Madeline. Again, where is that? Does that have anything to do with where he might have hidden Maddie? And in the interrogation room, and throughout the entirety of all of his audio interviews, I will say the way that he just talks about Madeline is very infuriating.
She brings a lot of joy. She's a very good girl. It definitely doesn't feel the same around here if she's not here. She was so happy too. She's looking forward to my visit here. She was looking forward to.
No, she wasn't.
She was just happy. She was just very happy.
Ah.
This is the guy that Madeline told her counselor she felt very uncomfortable around. She did not like this man. He lies on how he was gonna go through Monday morning after dropping Maddie off, and it doesn't make sense. To which detectives even ask him, I mean, do you have problems with your memory that you can't recall? Because you say that after dropping Maddie off, you went to the vape shop and waited for them to open. That would have been around 9:20, but then now you say you only waited a few minutes and then you left, and by the time you left, it was after 10 o'clock. So was it a few minutes or was it 40 minutes? What's going on?
I'm extremely ADHD. I'm sorry.
Oh, please.
So just details start to get fuzzy after a while. Even the times I'm giving you are my best guesstimates here. I didn't have my phone with me at the time, so I wasn't aware of exactly what time.
There's no time on your car?
Transpiring. There probably is, but it's not my car. It's my
I have
parents'
ADHD too.
car. I'm not a morning person.
I wouldn't use that to excuse
on the best of days
that.
and forgetful. I understand that none of that is helpful in this case.
Even when asked where he went to look for Maddie the night that she went missing, he says,
I don't recall. Maybe after? I can't. I'm so sorry. I was medicated. I've been medicated all week.
Shut up.
My memory is just not as reliable as I would like it to be right now.
Adderall doesn't cause memories.
even when he gets times wrong,
Loss.
he'll just say, sorry, I'm just not a morning person. I'm not a morning person. He's also asked
I
to pull up his
pooped in.
sleeves at one point so the officers can see his scars from changing his tire. And he says,
Do you mind taking your sweater off?
It's cold, but yeah.
it's cold, but sure, it's weird. So these are all from the audio interviews. And it's not until about 48 hours after Madeline goes missing that he gets brought into the police station. And he just mopes around for 3.5 hours. He does appear very stressed, so that's good. But when officers come in, he tries to play it off like he just woke up from this slumber. He's got his arms crossed. He looks very, very cold. And the impression he gives me is someone desperately trying so hard to seem sleepy and harmless. Like he just woke up from a nap and he's just getting his thoughts together. It's a bizarre combination.
He is getting his thoughts
He's
together.
able to sit there straight-faced and tell officers. He runs them through Monday again and Sunday night, and he tells officers, Jennifer sent me and Maddie upstairs to go sleep, so we had snuggle cuddle time. The officer asks, you say snuggle time. What does that mean? Maddie doesn't like to be alone. She's extremely dependent. She does not like to be alone at all. She needs human presence around her. Gotcha. So, how's your relationship with Maddie? Great. I am one of her favorite people in the world, and we're just trying to we've been trying to wean her off of that. Being so dependent, but it's been difficult.
Right.
Both the officers, there's 2 male officers in there. They look like they want to place their knuckles on the side of his face.
Bro?
Really?
Yeah, they look, the way they even say gotcha is like, gotcha. You are
an EP
so
boy.
She needs human presence around her.
Gotcha.
So right now they already got the footage and
Yeah.
from his phone. They
Oh.
saw the CCTV.
I can't even stand to look at his face now that I know what he did. He's disgusting. And the lies. And he was crying during the interview, like crying. I mean, Academy Award type of like performance. You know what I mean? Like Jennifer Lawrence could top that. Like it was impressive. Very impressive.
Everything.
And the guy is still trying to play it off.
That he's Maddie's favorite person in the entire world and she needs snuggle cuddle time. And even if that's the case, you should not be giving her snuggle cuddle time.
At 13.
It's weird. The police ask him to walk them through what happened Monday morning. He just yawns.
So she needs to brush her hair, brush her teeth.
Probably long end.
I don't know if that's him trying to appear so innocent that he's not stressed or worried, just casually responding to questions, or so chill because he did nothing wrong, or if he's buying time, or if it's a weird stress response. It's just kind of wild. So he runs them through his lies of Monday morning, and they keep trying to confront him. That's not the truth. But nevertheless, they're not bogging down on this one because at this point, they're not worried about Monday. They're worried about where is Maddie. How old are you, by the way? I'm 37, about to turn 38. I mean, you seem like a genuinely nice person, Stefan. I try.
Oh, good cop.
Jennifer talks very highly of you. Stefan is nodding. just bopping his head like, yeah, I mean, of course, because I am. So they ask him, okay, so you're saying Monday you're driving towards the school. So how is it that on CCTV cameras we see you driving back towards the house?
With Maddie still in the car.
Right, I forgot my gate clicker. I left with Maddie, and the school is about 20 minutes away. We're almost at the school, and I realize that I forget my gate clicker. I U-turn it back to go grab it because we had, quote, plenty of time to kill. So this is so strange. Imagine you leave your apartment and you need the gate clicker to get back into your apartment.
Plenty of time to kill, indeed.
And you're about to drop your kid off, not even your kid, your girlfriend's kid off at her school. You're almost at the school. Would you not just drop her off and then go home, talk to the security person and say, hey, I forgot my gate clicker? He thinks, no. The best option is to U-turn, drive all the way back without dropping Madeline off, go to the security guy and say, hey, I forgot my gate clicker, and then go get the gate clicker and then drive all the way back to the school again. The police are asking, could you not have just gotten your gate clicker after you dropped her off?
That sounds complicated.
I could have, but I also like to come back in through the back gate sometimes, and sometimes they're busy up front, so it's better to avoid the line. I don't know if it makes more sense. It's just what I did. And they also confront him. Okay, well, there is footage of you talking to security while Madeline is sitting in the front, reclined, and you say she's asleep. We don't believe that, but then you go to the dumpster and you throw something away. We went through that dumpster and we found her backpack in the trash. Why is her backpack in the trash if you're dropping her off at school? He doesn't respond. He just keeps blinking and he's staring at them like he's confused by what they're saying. Like, what do you mean you found a backpack? There's no way to find a backpack. And they tell him, Stefan, I'm telling you, what I'm pleading with you is that you do some soul searching. The more time that goes on, the more that this gets tough. That little girl is out there and we need to know. I really think that you can help us and I'm pleading with you. I dropped her off. That's the last time I saw her.
What do you think was on the phone?
Text messages, emails, phone stuff.
Pictures?
Yeah.
What kind of pictures were on there?
Training card pictures, lightsaber pictures, Disney pictures.
Do you have a Google?
Child pictures.
Yeah.
Do you save pictures to your Google account?
Sometimes.
Or is it automatically? I know sometimes phones sync to a cloud and.
Yeah, I think it backs up to Google.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And then sometimes when you reset your phone and your phone updates and puts these apps back on your phone, sometimes they will put the images back on your phone. Sometimes
suddenly, like, a naked child is knocked in your phone without realizing it. Gotten crazy. Random children. How many pictures did they found? 40,000? Yeah. It's crazy how these things happen all of a sudden. Like, damn. Crazy.
Not sure.
Yeah,
I assume so. Probably. I mean, went to Disney, took selfies on the train. She got back from Puerto Rico and had her hair braided. We got pictures of that.
Here's where I'm going to be brutally honest with you. There's your phone. And I'm pretty sure you know what some of those pictures are about. You're a very intelligent person. I don't want you to discredit yourself by saying you don't know about all the pictures that are on your phone. You understand what I'm saying?
Stefan looks taken aback. And he feels like the police, the way he responds is like the police are trying to do him dirty.
Should I be talking with a lawyer right now?
I can't answer that question. My sole purpose right now is trying to find Maddie, and I'm trying to see if you can help us. Well, I would really like to help, but I feel like I should probably have a lawyer present at this point.
You should.
So he's now finally realized he can't play any longer.
No. Well, we can make that happen. I just want to let you know that you're not free to leave and you are being detained. If you are told this and you're innocent, what do you say? What does an innocent person say?
Why?
Like, under what reason?
I'm innocent.
Right?
Yeah. Every interrogation clip where they're so guilty, they never ask what they're being detained for.
Yeah.
You're being detained, okay?
Yeah, he knows. He knows his fuck.
Do you want to know what what you're being detained for.
He knows.
Capital battery and possession of child pornography.
And with that, the interrogation is over after he requests an attorney. I mean, there's no denial, nothing, just okay. And it's so fascinating. So the best part after this entire interrogation is that they have to take pictures of all of Stefan's body parts. And because of the CSAM, they have to find this very distinctive freckle on his private parts. Because a lot of the pictures are of Madeline and then his private part. So they need to be able to identify that it is his private part in those pictures. 2 female officers come in and they start manhandling this man, taking pictures of him, forcing him to turn, take off articles of clothing, taking pictures of his private parts. And I don't think that they get paid enough for that job, but I also love the way that they're doing it. He is insanely uncomfortable. And of course, this is probably a fraction of what Maddie has felt, but still
Literally.
How do you know? Like, what was exactly? Is it described? Is it?
What do you mean?
The 2 officer.
No, I saw it.
What do you mean you saw it?
They tried to censor his private parts. Sometimes the censor is not censoring as well as it should, but they do censor it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and you just see these 2 female officers just going in, manhandling him, and I love them for it. And he's so uncomfortable, but they're incredibly thorough at their jobs that they're not like, oh, you're uncomfortable, you're chilly, okay, maybe we can stop after 1 or 2 pictures. They're like, no, reach under here, pull this back, do this. Yeah, they even tell him, hey, don't try to do anything squirrely because you're gonna eat the carpet. Like, we're gonna body slam you down if you try to do anything right now.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah. But he still finds the narcissism in the depths of his black soul, where in this situation, he asks if they can switch the handcuffs to the front instead of in the back because it hurts and it's making him claustrophobic.
Nobody cares.
The female officer just tells him, they're not made for comfort. Like, what do you want me to do? They're not made for comfort. No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to be accommodating right now. But this interrogation, still to this point, does not help. They need to find Maddie. If Stefan doesn't want to help them, maybe Jennifer, Maddie's mother, does.
Nope.
If you watch part 1, it is very evident that Jennifer does not care to help. In fact, it seems like she is more upset about Stefan being arrested and even cheating on her. Cheating, and I say that very loosely because it's essay, than her daughter being missing. I mean, maybe her shock is presenting itself differently, but it's so strange. It's like Stefan is her entire world. Even the day, the same conversation where she finds out about the CSAM, finds out that Stefan is abusing her daughter, she asks,
Is he being placed under arrest because of those pictures?
Yeah, we haven't made that determination yet. But
Press charges since she's a juvenile.
No idea. I didn't think it was in my power. I thought you guys just automatically did it. What do you think should happen to him for these pictures?
What do you mean?
It's crazy. Like, I saw the pictures, but I'm still in denial because, like, there's a piece there.
Mm-hmm.
But is he visual? Does he show up in any of the pictures?
Girl.
Is there? I mean, I don't know who's.
I haven't seen all of the pictures, so I can't answer that.
Okay, because I can't.
Whether it's his penis or not, are you comfortable with him having content of someone else's penis on his phone?
AKA, are you still comfortable with him having pictures of someone essaying your daughter, even
Like,
if it's not him in the picture? That makes sense. Absolutely not. No. So what do you think should happen to Stefan?
I'm afraid to say press charges, but what else? There's a side of me that wants to say he's innocent, that this doesn't happen, but who else's penis could that be? She's not left alone with anyone else.
Can I make one decision now and change my mind later?
what?
I just don't know a singular parent that
Bruh.
would not only want to press charges immediately, but would want to go into that jail cell
And beat his ass.
and do something about this. Throughout the entirety of the investigation, on top of all of that, she has never not once said anything nice about Maddie. I think that she might have mentioned that Maddie was kind of artistic at one point, but that's it. At least from all the released audio and video interviews, as well as police incident reports, she somehow cannot say anything kind about her own daughter. But she finds it in herself to say neutral to relatively nice things about Stefan, the guy that essayed her daughter for years, made even more infuriating by the fact that Stefan is a person. Even his parents have stated before all of this, Stefan is crazy. He's a manipulator. He's a gaslighter. Stefan's grandpa on his mom's side passed away. and he left this heirloom Rolex for his daughter, Stefan's mom. Stefan proceeded to steal that Rolex from his own mother.
How did you find out about that?
Stefan's mom said it. Stefan's mom was like, he stole the Rolex. And yet, Jennifer can say nice things about him, even defending him. Meanwhile, Maddie, who has done nothing but be victimized under Jennifer's care, is forgetful. Yeah, like any other human in the world. When it comes to Maddie, she mentions she leaves laundry on the floor. Her room's a mess. She keeps her personal space very disorganized. If she gets in trouble for anything, it's always her disorganization and her messiness. She's always behind on schoolwork. She has ADHD. She's forgetful.
She's getting raped.
Down and completely forget where she said it. She sleeps like a monkey.
Bro.
That's what she says, even after Stefan's arrest. The detectives ask her, what is Stefan's relationship with Maddie? She says, I was going to say really good, super great. He's always been super kind and sweet to her, very accepting, warm, and understanding of her because she's got ADHD. So she's kind of a little, I'll say abnormal, in the sense that she doesn't act like every other kid. You have to have patience and extra understanding for her. And he does that really well. This is after she finds out what he did. I think a loving mother would have said pretty much everything else. Maddie's stepdad says she's brilliant. She's very smart. Her favorite colors were green and purple, lavender to be exact, which is both parts vibrant and calm. I mean, people said that there's this sereneness to Maddie.
Who's Maddie's stepfather?
So she has a biological father and a stepfather that is now since divorced from Jennifer. And she seems closer with her stepfather than she was her biological father. They both don't live nearby. And then now she's got Stefan, who has never been her stepfather. Like, they never got married.
No, because
she recently won Student of the Week. There was this door painting contest at the school, and Maddie's quite creative. She would just get locked in and could spend hours creating things with her hands. She's a Swiftie. She loved making those beaded bracelets or drawing, and apparently she was really good at drawing. And one of the places that you're going to see her get so intense, everybody said, is when she's playing volleyball. She's so good at volleyball, but that's when her competitiveness finally comes out. But usually she just gets along with everybody. Her biological dad says, if you ever made a snarky comment, Maddie would correct him, saying, everyone's beautiful in their own way. At the vigil, Maddie's stepmother says, you were and still are the light of my life. So this is her biological dad's new wife. You were and still are the light of my life. I'm so blessed to have known such a sweet soul. You will be remembered as a young girl running through pumpkin patches, learning to fish, feeding baby goats, and jumping in the corn. It's hard to imagine that you're gone now.
poor baby.
Another who helped with the vigil said, we want her to know that as a community that she does matter to us. Whether you knew her or not, whether you live right here in Florida or you live in Australia, she matters to so many people. But instead, Maddie's mom wants to talk about how messy she is, how forgetful she is, and how she never does things on time. March 1st, a few days after Maddie goes missing, police have Jennifer Sodto in the police station being interviewed. So this is from part 1, the main interrogation. They have not found Maddie's body. They found all the CSAM. Stefan has been arrested. She knows about the abuse, and she's being questioned. The police are telling her, like, we just want to find your daughter's body because we don't think that she's alive. And you don't seem to want to find her, period.
You don't seem to care.
While that is happening, they are doing a press conference, asking anyone who has seen anything to come forward, please. If you see anything of interest, call us. And a tip comes in. A man named Thomas calls into the police station. He calls in the tip. I think I saw that same exact car, that silver car that you guys released, that Monday that Maddie went missing. He's explaining everything. Do you have the license plate number, sir? No, but I could lead you to where I saw the car because I'm not just remembering everybody's license plates. Well, do you have the exact address of where you might have seen this silver vehicle on Monday? No, but again, I can tell you pretty much exactly where it is. Like, I don't know if it has an address. It was in just the side of the road. Okay, well, thank you. I just think that that's a little bit too vague. The officer hangs up on him. Thomas is so confused. He's like, what do you mean it's too vague? You just told everybody to call if you saw something. So he gets into his
Police
car,
are so useless.
where he could have sworn he saw that silver Lincoln that day. Starts taking pictures. Look, it's not the exact address, but here you go. Here's the area. Here's the location that I saw the car. He was changing his tire. I saw a guy change his tire in the car that you're telling me to look out for.
So who's Thomas?
Just a random citizen.
Okay.
And he's like, hello, why is nobody listening to me? The spare tire was on the same exact side of the car that the press conference was telling us about. Thomas remembers what he saw. He was driving down the two-way road. One lane going north, one lane going south. There's not really much out there. It's just fields. It's fields and it's nearby Alligator Lake that we talked about in part 1 where all the alligators are. And then he sees this silver Lincoln pulled over to the side of the road. There is a man standing there near the driver's side with a backwards hat. He sees that up ahead. Thomas is driving towards the car that's pulled over on the side. And as he's passing, he sees that the man has something in his hand. Looks like a tire iron. Because he probably has a flat. He's changing his tire. Thomas is getting closer and closer, and he's going to slow down so he can pass the man safely. By this point, the man is leaned down next to his tire, and as Thomas's car passes, he looks up, and the two of them make direct eye contact. Thomas did not forget that face. He believes that face is Stephen Stearns. Thomas calls again. He's like, I'm going to call again till the authorities try to listen to me because, hello, I saw what I saw. When I was younger, investing to me looked like men in suits screaming into those dial-up phones on Wall Street as the green. Download the Acorns app to get started. Paid client endorsement. Compensation provides incentive to positively promote Acorns. Tier 3 compensation provided. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/rotten. This time they do take his tip seriously, and an hour later, March 1st, 2024, Maddie's body is found in farmland on a big plot of land near where he said he saw the car.
Like just in the bushes?
Yes, near a line of bamboo trees. She was wearing a green hoodie, blue jeans, and she was left lying in a fetal position. It is most people's beliefs that he was trying to drive to Alligator Lake to dispose of her in the lake. He got a flat tire, drove as far as he could on that flat tire, but eventually he had to pull over, and he couldn't get a spare tire with Maddie in the trunk. So he placed her body near the bamboo trees, fixed his tire, drove home. Maddie's cause of death is strangulation. Do you know what derivative immunity is? There's been a lot of outrage online that Jennifer Sodto has received immunity for this case, but that is not true. She's received derivative use immunity, which means for this interview that she had in April. So the main interrogation was done March 1st, the day of the press conference, the day that Maddie's body is found. They questioned her again April 18th of 2024, and whatever she says in that interview, no evidence that is taken directly from her testimony can be used against her. But she does not receive immunity in this case. She can still be prosecuted based off of independent evidence that is found against her. Okay, so let me try to create a scenario. John is caught, and he was doing a minor powder transaction. He was purchasing powder from a good buddy of his. But he gets arrested, he's talking to the police, and he says, I actually have information on a bigger powder operation. Not a transaction, a whole operation. I can lead you to the big guys upstairs. But he's very scared because once I tell you about it, I'm incriminating myself. The authorities will then give him derivative use immunity. That means his testimony cannot be used directly against him in the future prosecution.
But it can still be used.
You can't incriminate yourself. So let's say John tells him about the warehouse where they're storing the powder. Authorities go, they raid the warehouse, find the drugs. They cannot go and say, you knew about it, so we're arresting you. Unless John's other buddy, Kevin, comes along and Kevin says, hey guys, look at this picture I have of John in a lab coat cooking up in that facility. Then he can be prosecuted for the drug charges, just not through his own evidence. The police have to show that they obtained evidence against John through a completely independent source that is not John himself.
Yeah. But don't they usually do that to get some, like, lenience on their previous crime, right?
Yes. So that could work as well. But in this situation, I mean, they just want Jennifer to feel safe enough to say something.
Right. Because she's not being charged
as of
yet.
right now.
Yes.
Okay. As of right now. We don't know if she will be.
She
The
has to
detectives
be.
describe it to Jennifer as, quote, I also explained derivative use immunity, which means if you said there was a gun, and obviously there's no gun in this case, but you say there's a gun buried in your attorney's yard, we cannot go dig up that gun even if you told us that. Yeah, the gun is used. It was right there in his yard. We cannot go dig it up. We wouldn't be able to do that. We would have to show that we learned all those things independent from this interview. Now they could go
Interesting.
around asking, hey, does anybody know where the gun is?
What? Okay.
So there's one pertinent part of this interview. I mean, a lot of this interview is just repeats of what she said happened on Monday, or at least one variation of it, because all these people keep changing their stories. But there is this odd part where the officer asks her what Maddie would have eaten on her birthday party the night that she went missing. Jennifer lists off a Puerto Rican dish, and the officer says she's gonna have to spell it out for him because he can't really pronounce that. And she laughs like a little too hard. It's just weird. It's weird. She's like, ha 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 ha.
I
But
lost
the
my
main thing
daughter.
to come
That's
out of this
funny.
interview is she states that there was one morning where Maddie just could not wake up. Jennifer assumed it was her medication problem because she's on sleeping pills, that maybe they gave her too many meds too late at night, so she was still groggy in the morning. But she later realized that it was because she and Stefan weren't communicating well, and she assumes that she had given Maddie her nighttime meds, and then Stefan gave her nighttime meds. He claims he didn't know, but they effectively double dosed her with sleeping pills. Now, mind you, in a lot of the CCM videos and pictures, Maddie was asleep. So it feels like perhaps Stefan was drugging her. The officer also hints at the fact that there's a conversation on Jennifer's phone about Maddie suspecting that Stefan had given her THC pills. But Jennifer claims, I don't remember that, and the topic moves on. Now, I assume we're going to hear more from that later on. I don't know. But a few other things from this interview include Jennifer had apparently told an officer early in the investigation that the sleeping arrangements with herself, Stefan, and Maddie were so strange because Jennifer's sister was staying with them. So she's like, oh,
That's
well, we all
new.
had to sleep together because Jennifer's sister was here. But turned out not to be true. Jennifer admits that that was not true in this interview. The conversation of her weird text message comes up near the end of this interview. Maddie had plans to go see her biological father in Texas prior to all of this. Jennifer texts him, the biological father, I hope nobody touches Maddie or tries films her under the bathroom. Which is
What the
an
fuck?
specific thing to say. At first, Jennifer is like, I don't remember that. I don't remember that. But later she says, oh, I remember that text message. I think this was around the time, this is her saying this, I think this was around the time that an airline employee had taped his phone to the restroom to watch a child use the restroom so that they could secretly film it, but the child discovered it. Like, that's that. She's saying, like, that was that. Another
Right.
quick question. Police want to know if Maddie is embarrassed of Stefan's car. If that's the case, why didn't Stefan just take her to school in Jennifer's car so that he could drop her off at the school, like at the front gate of the school? Now, side note, it's pretty clear that Maddie, she's deceased. At this point, they found her body. Stefan had no plans of dropping her off, but they're asking Jennifer why you didn't question that as a mother.
Okay, so back to what you just said about her text to the ex-husband,
Yes.
right? One suspicion would be she found out about what Stefan did.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
this is her just listing it out because she was upset.
Now, mind you, Stefan was filming the roommate under the door.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the roommates.
And that will make her,
Yeah.
she no longer is innocent.
Exactly, because she invites him back into the house.
Yeah.
We don't know how, maybe she just saw he was secretly filming Maddie. Allegedly, this is our speculation theory, of course. And then still, why let him back into the house? Jennifer says she didn't question it because Stefan is not insured on her car.
You did let him drive your car after this occurred, though, right?
Yes, but he was very insistent because he wanted to go look for Maddie, and he had a spare on his car because he had a flat, so he couldn't drive his car. So he just really wanted to go out.
But what about this text message? June 16th, 2023.
You texted Stefan this. Maddie's no longer sleeping with me. I can't risk it. What does that mean?
What does that mean?
The most innocent reasoning would be, and it's not even that innocent, but the best case scenario would be that Jennifer was referring to not getting enough sleep because Maddie is a rough sleeper. But that means that was in 2023. If she said that Maddie is no longer sleeping with me, I can't risk it, she was claiming to the police up and down, Maddie always sleeps with me. Usually she doesn't sleep with Stefan. Stefan doesn't sleep with us. It's always me and Maddie. She never sleeps alone. So if she's not sleeping alone and she's not sleeping with you, who is she sleeping with? That's the most
We know who
innocent
she's sleeping
variation
with.
of what that text could mean, but most netizens feel like this cryptic text means something else. There are speculations that Jennifer knew about the abuse, and even when the three of them shared the bed, he was theorized, this is a theory, that he was allegedly taking pictures of Maddie and essaying her in the same bed.
Bruh.
Can't risk it. Netizens either think that she's referring to, I can't risk Maddie waking up in the middle of the night and knowing that I'm also here, or I can't risk it, aka you're creating CSAM and my sheets and pillows are all in the background. That's what netizens theorize. Stefan has been arrested for CSAM, child essay abuse, as well as first-degree murder charges. And now the question is, with all of this, even this derivative use immunity interview, people feel like Jennifer is even more sketchy. This did not make her less sketchy in even the slightest amount. The main arguments against Jennifer, other than the ones that we've already covered in part 1, is that the very first initial response from the police, there's body cam footage, they come to talk to Jennifer about her missing child Monday night. Jennifer's trying to show them a picture of Maddie, and she's got to scroll through her phone quite a bit. A lot of netizens and parents think this is so strange. They say, if your child is not already your phone background, you've got pictures of them everywhere in your phone. I don't even have children. I have pictures of my nieces everywhere in my phone. It doesn't make sense. It just feels like Jennifer she doesn't care
She's
about
not a
her mom.
mother.
She doesn't attend her own daughter's birthday party. That's not even held on the day of her daughter's birth. It's like you could schedule that for when you're off then. And then it just feels like she could not physically care less about her own kid. Also, why the hell is Stefan staying with them? He and Jennifer are broken up at this point. It doesn't even make sense.
It's just staying for
She
Maddie.
even tells officers, it wasn't until June of last year that we'd broken up, and I said, okay, I don't want to sleep with him in the same bed. Please move upstairs. And he moved upstairs. So you don't want to sleep with him in the same bed, but you want your 13-year-old daughter to sleep with him in the same bed. Jennifer's explanation for that is, I don't know if I was ever comfortable with that, the two of them sleeping together, but you told them to sleep together Sunday night. I did. That was a selfish move on my part. It's because I wanted a good night's sleep. I didn't want her kicking me or
Maddie had her own
waking me
bed.
up to hear her alarm so that it woke me up. I wanted to keep sleeping until I needed to sleep because I just had not had that with my training schedule. I have had not a good night's sleep. My medication was out of whack. I was feeling funny and not like myself, and I knew that I needed another night's sleep and my medication in my body. Then why not just have your parents watch her? So Jennifer's grandmother lives nearby, and when Jennifer is working, she will actually do drop-off and pickups. She'll help watch Maddie. I'm not saying parents should become unstable or not take their medication or sacrifice their own physical health for their children, but there are certain things you can do to ensure the safety of both you and your child. Like, let her stay at grandma. She was already at grandma Sunday for the birthday party. In fact, she cried to grandma saying that she didn't want to go home that week. Then in other interviews, Jennifer and the other roommates, as well as Jennifer family members, they all mention that Jennifer is a deep sleeper. Her meds knock her out. Like, she will be out like a light to the point where she cannot hear anything. So she's saying, I needed my sleep. I didn't need anyone to bother me. Like, I'm so fragile and frail. I need my sleep. Ooh, I really need it. But then also, I didn't hear anything Sunday night because I just knocked out. I was so deep asleep. Additionally, she was not scheduled to work Monday or Tuesday, so she had a lot of time to recoup before going back to work. Furthermore, if Jennifer was someone who needed good quality sleep, why did she sleep with her quote-unquote nervous dog? I don't know about a nervous dog, but remember she said he came to put the leash on my nervous dog, and I had to help him in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Was the dog in the room with you?
Yes. He gets very nervous and will urinate. If you put the leash on him too directly, you have to be nice and talk to him.
I don't know about you. If you have a nervous dog, they're typically very sensitive to noise and they're barking all the time and they're rummaging, they're pacing when they feel like something's happening, they growl, they grunt. I mean, they think everything is a potential threat. So it doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Another roommate said that she always saw Maddie and Stefan alone upstairs in room number 4. And she would even ask Jennifer because she thought that was strange. Like, hey, is that okay for your daughter to just... This is not even a stepdad that raised her since she was young. This is not even a stepdad. This is not her biological father. It's not even a family member. And like sometimes a lot of abuse even happens within family members. So you can't even just, it was even weirder. Like it's just, I can't think of a single explanation why that's okay, the roommate is saying. So she asked Jennifer, is that okay? Because that's weird.
I think for them to ask, there must be some off vibes.
Energy. It's not just like, oh, Maddie's bored. She doesn't want to be alone. So they're like, and then Stefan is like, oh my God, I want to be alone. But this kid keeps bothering. Like clearly something is weird.
Mm-hmm.
And Jennifer's like, no, he would never harm my daughter. Even one of the other roommates is more emotional when talking about what Stefan did to Maddie in regards of the abuse. She cries in the interview with the police. She's more emotional than Jennifer. She keeps saying throughout the interview, I wish I had paid more attention. I wish I had paid more attention.
Oh, that's so sad.
I wish I would have like saw or something. I would have paid more attention or something.
Which are the things that you would expect someone to say.
Mm-hmm.
Side note, there is this very emotional moment where the detectives tell the roommate, we received a tip, an anonymous tip that you knew about the abuse, that you told someone about the abuse. That roommate was like, oh yeah, I live with this family. I think that there's abuse going on. Keep in mind, this is a high profile case. So this tip likely, I want to say personally, in my opinion, has no merit. I don't think it's real.
Bro, I would have killed myself if I knew anything, dog. I promise you.
I've never heard that kind of anger or upset or anything from Jennifer in any of her interviews. And then Jennifer, on one hand, she acts like the world's most micromanaging, attentive mom. Oh, I have to remind her to do things because she's forgetful. She has ADHD. I have to make sure that she takes her medication because I don't want her to take Adderall at night because then she can't sleep and
Obviously.
she accidentally takes it. I have to do this. I have to do this. She pretends to be a micromanager whilst never attending an open house at her school, at Maddie's school. All of Maddie's teachers say, one of them said, Maddie would have sleepy days, which were not normal. She would be zoned out and asleep through the entire period. You know how kids will sleep in school? This was not that. They say the level of this was just different. They told Maddie's mom about it. She did nothing. She just said, oh, it's her meds. So you are micromanaging, but at the same time, you don't notice anything? And by all accounts, if you mesh together Maddie's teacher, Maddie's friends, Maddie's family members, all of their testimonies and statements, it seems like Maddie was doing so much better mentally after Stefan moved out and was slowly recovering. That's what it feels like. They don't know that because they just think, oh, she's been a lot better. She's been more attentive and more focused on her schoolwork. She's been more creative recently. But if you kind of put the pieces together, she's recovering after he moves out. Even Jennifer tells an officer, Maddie had the typical teenage attitude. The sass, the talking back, the disrespect, the pushing boundaries. She was very much doing that. But that calmed down over the last few months.
Yeah.
Even better when Stefan moved out and went to Northport.
That's shocking. Oh my god. I think I'm gonna continue this tomorrow or I don't know when. But I gotta eat and then I gotta play some video games. So I'm gonna end this stream and I'm gonna come back after I'm done eating.